All right, guys, we need to talk about DeepSeek a little bit. So what happened over the course of last week is that on the global scale, China had played their card in the AI game. They were preparing from many perspectives. They did have some very nice models for video generation and other stuff, but for the first time, they released something that actually competes and beats OpenAI's efforts with regards to large language models. And also, more importantly, it breaks their business models. So let's take a look at what OpenAI, has to deal with now and what DeepSeek has done. DeepSeek released basically two models. One is called V3 and another is called R1. So you can look at it as basically V3 is a GPT-4 and it's a similar size, similar capabilities. And R1 is like O1 or O3 that OpenAI announced. And you can also say that R1 can be running on top of any large language models, but now the benchmarks that they showed are running on top of V3, and they're beating OpenAI's models with most of the benchmarks as far as we can see. Now, that on itself would be already an achievement, but that's really not all the tricks that they had up in their sleeves. They used some mathematical optimization and the mixture of experts and some other things, and they claimed that they trained the V3 model for $6 million, which is literally nothing if we talk about the currently known cost for training such models. It's estimated that GPT-4 training is well above $100 million, and if what they're saying is true, which is, nobody's guaranteeing that right now because there's a rumor that they got some 50,000 GPUs illegally into China to train this model, and they're just breaking the economics for the West. But if it's anywhere close to the truth, this is a breakthrough that democratizes and cheapens the creation of the large language models on its own. Again, that's the second massive breakthrough that impacts us all, really. And third, and the biggest and the most important, is the breakthrough with R1. So if you remember what OpenAI did with O1 model, they decided to hide the chain of thought, the chain of reasoning that O1 is using for coming up with the right answer. And R1 went the other way. They open sourced the entire thing, which means that anybody can use their approach, their technologies, their findings in order to train their own models based on the reasoning outputs of the R1 model. And also they enabled distilling, which is basically taking a more powerful model and using this R1 approach in a combination with, it's basically like reinforcement learning plus fine-tuning, supervised fine-tuning, to distill knowledge you need for a specific business case, or just for the purposes of having a smaller and faster model that is going to be as capable as possible for its own size. I think that has tremendous implications and will soon be seen those models on our mobile phones and on Raspberry Pis and our local computers as well. So the way it impacted the world right now and already, you have all probably heard and seen that the stock of Nvidia went down by 500 something billion dollars. It rebounded after that, but not entirely, to roughly the half of that, because basically the message is like, look, if we now can train this good of a model with that limited compute, it's a game changer. We no longer may need that many GPUs. We no longer may need those nuclear plants that Google is building for themselves to run massive data centers. We may not even need to send GPUs to space in order to cool them down effectively. And that's a breakthrough. It breaks the entire premise of OpenAI massive funding. It may even make this $500 billion that Trump decided to invest into AI look literally useless with the progress that DeepSeek had made in this field. And even that is not all. With some optimizations and with the way they run things and with the distilling of the models, making like smaller and more intelligent models, as well as with the fact that R1 and V3 are both open source models, it means the compute cost, the inference cost also went down drastically, which means that soon we will be running these models on our devices, on Raspberry Pis, on mobile phones, on our laptops, and they will be working just as well as some of the top performing models right now. Obviously, OpenAI and Anthropic and others will come out with the next generation of models that work even better. But the economic of this thing has changed. There is no longer a massive competitive advantage that OpenAI has just because that got all this funding. And I think overall, the democratization of large language models and democratization of this sort of a layer of the base intelligence is what is happening right now and what is changing this industry. This will keep improving. These computational benefits will keep coming. And the compute level advantage related to players like Nvidia and OpenAI, it seems like it's disappearing. Or at least it is going to transform quite massively. I am intrigued to see how United States are going to respond, how OpenAI is going to respond. And I think this now goes, from the level of companies playing with each other to the level of countries playing with each other. And I think every leader in the world now understands that this is the strategic initiative. This is something that will be driving the world for the years to come. So let me know, what do you think are other economic impacts and political impacts maybe of this change that has been brought by this company, by DeepSeek?